In this video, we're going to walk you through how to leverage the map visualization within Dashboard Fox. It's going to work very similar to any of our visualizations, but we'll walk you through the specifics. We're going to first go to the Composer, and the key is selecting an app having data that's going to have state identification or state names in that. I'm going to select sales data. This is demo mode, so you could actually follow through with this in the demo mode of Dashboard Fox. We're going to pick sales data. And in particular, in the customers folder, you'll notice that we have things like state, postal code, country, city. So in the version 1 of the map visualization, it's going to support both a long state name and the common abbreviation of a state name. In future versions, you're going to see things like zip code and latitude and longitude and much more options there. So you, at the very least, you want to have a minimum of a state name in a long form or short form. And I'll show you when we set that up how that works. Let's build a simple report. We're going to say how many orders we have by state. So I'm going to bring in order number. I'll bring in my state, and I'll add a formula and count up the number of orders that I have in this case. So this is very common to how you would start to build any sort of data set. Now, one thing I noticed is I've got states coming from multiple different countries. So I'm going to bring in a country, and I'm going to add a criteria to hard code, in this case, the USA. So again, nothing unique related to the map here, but I'm setting up criteria, I'm adding formulas, I'm doing the things I would normally do to build a data set. And the last thing I would probably do is anything that I want to have available as a filter or set up as a prompt, I want to add those in this data set and probably going to make those non-visibles. For example, maybe I want to bring in the product name, maybe I want to bring in the order date. I want to bring in perhaps the sales rep name and things like that. I can start to add those in. As I add those in by default, that's going to mess up or change my data set. What I want to do is add those in and turn off the visibility. And that's going to allow them to be used as dashboard filters if you add this report to a dashboard, and it's not going to affect the order number count that we have. And the last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to change my order number to say number of orders, just so that the title reflects the data in this grid at this point. So now I've got my data set. You'll notice I don't even have all 50 states in this particular data set, but that's fine. It'll just ignore the states that are not there. And I'm going to pop under visualization, and now you'll see the new map visualization. Again, this is version 1, so this screen might look a little different when you start to work on it. We'll update this video as we add new major features, but very simple to use this. We're going to select our location field, which will be our state. We'll select our value field, which will be our number of orders in this case. You'll see it defaulted to postal code, which is the short identifiers that we have. And there's various different maps I can pick. This is the standard US, but if I do US small, you'll see it'll show me those small states in a easier to view method. If I'm working with territories, then I have my territories listed here, which I don't have any data for. We'll stick with small. And then the last thing you could do is adjust the color coding of how you want that. Now, if you're using a gradient, you'll see the legend here. There's a gradient here that goes with the number of orders. You can easily just adjust that gradient. Let's go to a blue gradient. So I'll say light blue for my smaller number of orders, and then I'll go with a dark blue for a lot of orders. And you can kind of see that updates as I look at my map. I can also do an on or off condition based on ranges. So if I want to just say just a few orders and go from 0 maybe to 50, I can set that to be maybe my cooler color and add that. And if I want to say a lot of orders, I'll go from 51 to, I'll just say 500, just to go to a high number. I can pick that as a darker color and add that. And now you'll see my legend is going to show those two unique options. And regardless of how many items are in that range, is going to show that as sort of an on or off, that a yes or no type of condition. So now that you've configured your map, you can hit the finish. It'll be there in your preview. You can continue to refine that map. You can continue to go back to the grid and work on your grid. But as you save this in your library, in your document section, you can now apply this to dashboards and embed it and schedule it and do all the things that you would normally do with a Dashboard Fox document. So if you do have any questions or need any help, just go out to support.dashboardfox.com and post in our community. Or if you are on priority support, you can reach us at team@dashboardfox.com.